Hi, I'm Leanne Ely. I'm a nutritionist, a New York Times best-selling author, and some people even say I'm a life coach. I started the Daily Dish Show to share my story, my truth, and my journey to vibrancy, and to inspire others to do the same. Because it's all about grit, perseverance, and finding a way despite the odds. It's about embracing the whole woman, not just the parts that are easy to love, and feeding her heart, mind, body, and soul. But I found that this isn't just my story, it's your story too. It's go time. This is the Daily Dish. This is the Daily Dish. And I'm so glad you're here. It's Wise Women's Wednesday. Especially glad you're here with Wise Women's Wednesday. And there's our girl Doris already in the house. And of course, Patsy. I'm glad you're here. Isn't it great to be together? Got my flannel on. It's a little chilly outside. We had the rain this morning, but now it's gone. And the promise of a beautiful day ahead. So glad. Today's the last day for Hot Melt 30, isn't it? Can you believe how fast that went? Didn't you go fast, Patsy? Patsy, you did a really good job on this. I mostly was a little fly on the wall watching everybody do their thing. And, it was so great. It was so great watching everybody go really full on deep bored into it. And I really enjoyed watching you. Really neat. Martha's in the house as well. And she's saying hello to Jenny, Amber, and Lindsay, our dream team, who are right here. Right here. Say hello, guys. Anyway, so that is what we were talking about. Yesterday we talked, if you remember, we talked about a little bit more about mindful thinking and just really making sure that we were dead set on knowing that our thoughts are going to produce chemistry in our bodies and also are going to be producing the results in our lives. We have to stop. We have to stop this minimizing of things, because oftentimes what happens is we don't think about our thinking. We don't build those gaps that we need to between where we are and where we want to go. That is a necessity to build it. And I will tell you right now, from personal experience, it is the building that turns you into a different woman, completely different woman. And it's worth every step of the way. Ellen is in the house. Deborah's in the house. So is Jocelyn. I'm so glad to have you here. Anyway, but you have to just, as if we talk about building that gap, which I think is so critical and so absolutely imperative, if this is a decision that you've made for your life that you want to go from here to there, then we have to get into this whole idea of understanding that there's some stuff that we're going to have to battle along the way. A lot of that is the negative thinking, and there's also knee-jerk thinking. We're going to be unloading that today. Boom, unloading the whole thing. Also, for your convenience, you know what we did? Hi, speaking of wise women, there's our Flynn and Corliss in the house. Yeah, I know somebody else told me that they were getting friends requests from me. I guess I need to change my password. Sorry, Corliss. Erica's in the house. Hello, Erica, Chris, Alice. Good to have you here. So let me just narrow some things down for you. Number one is that today is the last day for our Cyber Monday sale, which again, I did not do forget it. But we have, if you buy the journal, the Take Back Your Life journal, you get a quote deck absolutely free. That's like a $20 value, y'all. We also have a thing where if you buy the Carousel of Crazy book, we are going to give you also the workbook that goes with it. That's a $21 value that you're getting absolutely free. And also we have we published, everybody asked for it, so we did it, the Hot Melt Sprint group. And the Hot Melt Sprint diet, basically the Hot Melt Sprint, what do you want to call it? It's just the Hot Melt Sprint, right? We have the Hot Melt Sprint all published for you, so you're ready to go. And then the second book that comes with that is all recipes. So anyway, you have those, and if you buy one, you'll get that one absolutely free, which is an $8 value. See? Now, here's the deal. And we also have some of our Black Friday stuff left. We got pretty wiped out, but we're cool. We've ordered new stuff. But you have the right to go do some clean picking on those bones if you want to. I'm just letting you know. Today is the very last day, though. At midnight, at 12:01 a.m. Thursday, it's gone. Okay? So don't delay. We're giving you one more opportunity. We'll probably send another email out for you tonight so you don't forget. I don't want anybody coming back and saying, oh, I completely forgot. Just want to make sure you feel covered and you feel seen and that you know we care about you. Because we do. So you can find everything, though. We condensed everything on our Monday page. It's at savingdinner.com/Monday. And that's where you have all the details for Cyber Monday, which were the buy one, get one free things that I just told you about, and also any leftover supplements that we have, right? Slim pickings, but we have them. We have them. All right. Let's talk about this whole thing about knee-jerk thinking, because this is a great, big, huge deal. And I know from personal experience that getting this part down will completely start to change the way that you do life in general and the way you examine things and the way that you immediately respond. Because if we can get our response down into a place of thinking first before reacting, game on, sister. So let's go ahead and we'll bring our TikTok friends on and we'll talk about that. And by the way, if you haven't been on TikTok yet, you can go find us at tiktok.com/savingdinner. It's happening over there, and it's content you don't get here. Just letting you know. This week's quote, it's a good one. Good character, like soup, is usually homemade. Am I right? 100%. 100%. There's no such thing as a good canned soup. Sorry, there just isn't. Nope, not going to go with it. So let's talk about this idea of knee-jerk thinking, because it's a reflex. It's a reflex. Just like if you're sitting in your doctor's office and they tap you on your knee and your knee goes flying out, that is a reflex that you don't have a whole lot of control over. And when we have a reflex that whether we thinking or we react or speak or whatever, that reflex is just something that's ingrained in us. But that doesn't mean that it's permanent and that it is like the doctor hitting your knee. It is not. I'm going to share with you why it isn't and what it is that you can do about it, because this is good stuff, especially for around the holidays when we're constantly around people that maybe push the buttons a little bit. Anybody have relatives that push your buttons a little bit? I do. Of course you do. But it's a strong ingrained habit with its own personal history. Usually each person has their own personal history. There's a lot of tension. There's a lot of pressure associated with having these knee-jerk thinking, these thoughts and actions. And it's built in, and we automatically look for a relief valve, don't we? We do. You know why we do that? Because we are looking for ways to alleviate the pressure that we're feeling. And what do? We fall into things like smoking, drinking, eating, binge eating, going for the sugar or whatever. And for some of us, that's what our whole thing is. We just need that relief. And what we find as we go for the relief is we find ourselves hooked into another problem, right? Usually an addiction. So, and I can speak from a food addiction point of view as an expert because I have been there. I have done that. I've gotten the t-shirt. I've done it without having anything to help me, like L-glutamine, and I've done it with L-glutamine. And I will tell you, L-glutamine made it a whole heck of a lot easier. I was a sugar addict, and the reason I became a sugar addict the second time, by the way, is because I was arrogant enough to think that I had it licked. And that's not necessarily the case. Some people can, some people can't. So if anybody tries to shame you and comes on to you and says, well, you should be able to eat in moderation, anything you want in moderation or whatever, and they're telling you what it is that you should do. Should is a knee-jerk type of an announcement. It really is. I hate that. I hate shoulding. Don't let anybody should on you, by the way. Am I right? You know I am. Just, So a lot of the time that this kind of knee-jerk thinking, it turns into a negative loop, leading to negative behavior, leading to anxiousness, regret, guilt. And then what happens? We start over, shampoo, rinse, repeat. We start over. That's what a craving is, right? The craving starts with, I need another fix. Give me some more sugar. Give me some more of that. And we keep going until we get what it is that we need to make ourselves calm the heck down. That's what L-glutamine does. It steps in and does the calming for us instead of having a cigarette, instead of drinking a glass of wine, instead of eating a bunch of donuts or whatever. So what I want you to do is start to look at clues in your life to see if you can find the connection between some knee-jerk thinking, that thoughts that maybe your thought, well, maybe this is just normal thinking, or something that maybe you need to rethink. Because oftentimes with this knee-jerk kind of thinking, it's just something that just comes right off the cuff, and it's just so ingrained. And it doesn't, just because it's ingrained doesn't mean that it's appropriate. Sometimes it's got to go. You know what I'm talking about. So if you hear the word should a lot, like I just said with our friends who want to tell us that everything in moderation, you should be able to eat anything or drink anything or do anything in moderation, they need to take a seat. Am I right? Take a seat. That's number one. Number two is comparing yourself to others. Remember, comparison is always a thief of joy. And one of the ways that this happens, and maybe you don't think that you're doing this, but maybe you are. And here's how it comes out. It's at least I, blah, 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 blah. Well, I could never. That is a comparison thing. If you could say, well, I could never, X, Y, and Z. Well, good for you. What are we going to do? Stand up and give you a round of applause? I mean, so what? I hear that a lot. And it's just, what we decide that the standard is what we think is the best. We do, and we do this with our own biases. We all have them, by the way. There's just every single person on this planet has a bias of some sort or biases, more than one. So we need to remember this, that we comparing ourselves to others by saying, well, at least I don't fill in the blank, or I could never, or whatever it is a way of putting someone else down while elevating yourself. And in the meantime, it's a comparison, and it's just not very pretty, not very, very attractive. The other one is minimizing or catastrophizing. Do you know what that is? That is a distortion of the truth. That's all it is. When you minimize and say, oh, it's just a little bit won't hurt. That's minimizing. Or you catastrophize and say, because I ate this, now I'm going to blow up to the size of a balloon, an elephant. That's catastrophizing. Neither one is true, and neither one is helpful, because they distort the truth. One says that it's nothing when it is, and the other says that you're going to be, the hyperbole is ridiculous. And when we distort the truth, our brains learn not to trust us. We've shown ourselves to be not trustworthy because our brains know right away, there's no way you're going to turn into an elephant. Our brains know right away that little bit, you're feeding an addiction by caving into it. And that little bit is going to hurt, because over the long haul, your knowing knows. Am I right? Tell me. I want to hear from you on this one, because this is really critical. We really love to dismiss and pretend like it's not a big deal. And it is, because it leads us down a garden path to something not very pretty. And I'm speaking from experience, but I'm also speaking from years, 28 years to be precise, of coaching clients and hearing how that little bit just took them right off their feet and onto their butts. It's just not helpful. I don't know. What do you think? So we have to take a look at that stuff, because it is just, it's the craziest thing. It is the craziest thing, and it will take you down the wrong path when we distort the truth like that. We also have to take a look at our negative I am statements. Those negative I am statements are declarative of who you are. And when you do that, maybe this is just not true, about yourself. I shared a story a while ago that I put a pen in my it was in my pocket or something, and it got into the dryer where my bath mats were, and I got black ink all over my white bath mats. And the thing that came out of my mouth startled me because I don't usually speak like this. I am so stupid, is what I said. And the fact is, I am not stupid at all. The fact is that I made a dumb move. I did. I did something dumb. I didn't check the pocket of my sweatshirt before I put it into the wash. And then when it came into the dryer, boy, did I find that pen. So we have to be careful of this kind of stuff, and it needs to stick out like a sore thumb because we are worth so much more than just that kind of negativity. So negative I am statements have got to go because I am is powerful. It is declarative. It is saying, just what God said, I am who I am, who I am. I mean, it's declarative. So make sure that those I ams are true and uplifting. The other one is futurizing. How about this one? I'll never be able to give up sugar. I'll never be able to stop smoking. I'll never be able to fill in the blank. When you do that, you put yourself in a corner. And I don't know about you, but my understanding is nobody puts baby in a corner, right? So let's get with the program on this. The whole key to this new vibrant kingdom, though, is simple. Awareness plus action on repeat gets you a new habit. And it gets you away from this knee-jerk thinking, and it gets you away from living reactively instead of thinking thoroughly. When you think thoroughly and you think things through and you take a minute, let me just tell you something. It's not going to change your intelligence, but it's going to make you look so much smarter than just coming off and getting all upset. I had a girlfriend one time, and I swear she was so hair triggery. Every time something, look, well, come on. And she'd say to her husband, come on, we just need to go. And I was just like, God, you just calm down. Isn't there room in this room for more than one opinion? But there are people who are like that. You don't need to be one of them. And you can progress and put all of that stuff behind you just simply by becoming aware and replacing this negative stuff with some positive stuff. So to me, this is breaking a bad habit. That's all it is. It's a bad habit, this knee-jerk reactionary thinking kind of a thing. And it's like breaking up with a bad boyfriend. And hear me on this, because sometimes a bad boyfriend is, blatantly abusive. And other times, just subtly talking behind your back, maybe playing around, flirting with some girl online. And just, something's not right. Can't put your finger on it. But something's not right about this guy, right? He's a bad boyfriend. So sometimes we have to look and just find the subtlety and also the obviousness, because this is the type of stuff that needs to go, just like a bad boyfriend. So how do we stop this knee-jerk thinking stuff? I got 5 easy, fast things for you, and it's going to make a big difference. By the way, if you want the show notes, you can always get them at savingdinner.com. That's where we keep all the show notes. That's where we keep the registrations for our newsletter. So just go ahead and do that, and you will get our show notes tomorrow morning. Okay. So number 1 is to think about the stink. In other words, thinking about our thinking is wise. We talked about that yesterday, especially when we can pull out all the bad apples. And there are bad apples in our thinking. Everybody has them. It is a lifetime to master your thinking. Lest you think you could have that done in an afternoon, it's not going to happen. We battle this, but it is worth the energy put forth in order to battle this stuff out. Number 2, look for evidence to support your new thought. This is my favorite. This is the reticular activating system on fire, by the way, on fire. Your reticular activating system wants to support your new thought. Just looking for evidence. So give it to them and just say, okay, go find me some evidence. Let's go with this. Let's see what we can do with that. And you will find it. Watch. Number 3, I am statement it. Instead of, I told you about the dryer incident with the pen and the ink and my bath mats. Instead of I am so stupid, just think, I'm smart, but I did something really dumb. Big deal, big flipping deal. And let it go. Laugh at it, give it a chuckle and dismiss it. That's when we need to be dismissive, right? That's when we need to be dismissive. Quit beating ourselves up. Number 4 is write it down. Unload the negative garbage and then see how can I replace it. I will tell you, it's one of my favorite tools is kind of an if then, or a pro con list, and just taking a piece of paper, putting a line down the middle, and just unload all the negative stuff. Just unload it, put a space between each line so you can just see what's going on in your head. Then on the other side of the paper, I am it differently, the way that you want it to be expressed instead. We all do dumbass moves. Come on, having pens go through the dryer, not smart, not smart. But it's just part of the human equation. Big deal. Let it go. And what you can say on those I am statements, instead of I'm so stupid for letting this happen, blah, 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 I can say instead, I am smart, but I'm also human. And the pen got in the dryer. Next time that won't happen. And we're done. Next. That's how that whole thing works. And then the last one, 5, is your gratitude for the change that you expect to see. That's the whole thing. Our expectations need to be set on the right thing. You know what I mean? So in other words, we can expect that the changes are going to come. We can expect that as we say, get rid of the I am statements that are so negative and replace them with good, healthy I am statements, that we're going to start feeling the difference. I invite you into that whole realm of feeling the difference and of being the difference and of seeing the difference, looking for evidence constantly to support the things that you want. It's out there. And by the way, it's good to see a whole bunch of you who I saw hop on afterwards, Catherine and Tanya, Maria, and I believe, if I'm not mistaken, I saw our Nancy finally back. Arlene, good to have you here too. Jane, cheers. Happy holiday season. We're here. You ready to get going? Let's do it. Don't forget, our last day for all of the Black Friday cyber sales is today. savingdinner.com/Monday. Go get yours now. Peace be with you. Bye-bye.
Thank you for joining me today. You can find me on TikTok for daily tips to help support your most vibrant life. And remember, you are the author of your own story. Until next time.